Hey guys, today Paul is going to be doing my first repair on a 1911, and I'm lucky enough to be able to repair this. This is the AMT Hardballer 1911 Long Slide. This is the gun that was used in the movie Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So if you're familiar with that, you'll be familiar with this gun. It's got quite a history. Now the guy that is letting me fix it, he's letting me do that just so I can learn more about the 1911 platform. I don't know much about it. I've only taken apart this one and one other, like fully taken it apart. But he let me do that because I think it was around 10 years ago, he said. He had this thing holstered, locked and cocked, or cocked and locked, and he was out deer hunting. You know, it was just his sidearm. Well, while he was out, it went off, uncommanded. It was cocked and locked. No, nothing touched the trigger, and it just happened to go off. So he wanted me to take it apart, look at it, and see if I could figure it out. So I did, and I now have it completely fixed. The grip safety and everything is fixed. It was not working either. You can see it's clear. Well, I can see it's clear. I see light through the barrel. But I don't know how it went off with the safety on. Well, actually, that safety's off now. But with the safety on, for some reason, it just, that one day it went off, and it never has had any trouble since. But he hasn't shot it since either, so we don't know. And I sure didn't shoot it. But I ended up taking this apart. I saw that the sear and the hammer were bad. So I decided to replace that, and the grip safety, I thought, well, you know, I may be able to do some adjustments to that and get that working again. But I ordered the parts, got them in, and as you'll see in a minute on the video, I ordered only a sear. I ordered the sear, the hammer, and the sear spring that goes inside of here. But that's the only parts I ordered. Ended up coming with another grip safety that got thrown in the order, so I wasn't too disappointed about that. I put that on, and that is exactly what it needed for the grip safety. Otherwise, I would have had to file down the other one and make it work again. But I ended up getting this going like it's supposed to go now. When you're not touching the grip safety, the trigger won't go. You touch the grip safety, and you got a trigger. Now there's one thing about it, I've not tuned this yet. So eventually I'm going to, well, before I give it back to him, I'm going to go through there and tune it, because this trigger is extremely heavy for a 1911. I haven't measured it, but that feels like it's upwards of 7 or 8 pounds. So that's not acceptable for a 1911. It needs a special tuning. So let's get at it. Alright, I'll start by taking the grips off. Pretty obvious this one's a little bit old. Alright, now I'm going to take this thing apart. Being a longer slide, it's got a lot of tension on that spring. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this, even though it's not advised. I'm just used to doing it that way. And that makes it a lot easier to take all this apart. Oh, come on out of there. There it goes. Alright. Don't really need to take the barrel out for this, but I might as well keep things the way I'm used to. Alright. So this just came in yesterday, and I can already tell it wasn't packaged all that well. So I'm going to hope for the best here. Let's see. That's a neat little package there, though. Let's see. I'll put this over on this side. Oh, I got more than I bargained for. That was nice. I paid for the hammer. Oh yeah, that notch looks much better. So I paid for the hammer, the sear, and the sear spring. But the hammer and the sear are really the only two things I need. But I also got the hammer pin and the sear pin with it, and a new mag release, and a new grip safety, which just is somewhat convenient because the grip safety on this one is not working, which I can demonstrate that right here. And that should work, but since it doesn't, I'm going to just go ahead and use all of this, since this is the original. That's the hardest part about this AMT Hardballer. It took me several days to find the original hammer and sear that came with this thing. Alright, so I will pop that out. Take the, well, nope, I have to take the mainspring off first. Almost forgot. Now some people would like to use a block. I like to use these pieces of foam, well not foam, but kind of like a foam. It's plastic. But that's what I prefer to use rather than a regular block. Let's see. So I will take out the mainspring pin. All right. Hopefully this will go well, and I'll have this back together in no time. See, there's the mainspring that came in it, which does look quite a bit different from this one. Just a little bit, but not much. All right, then I'll take out the hammer pin. Oh, I don't even need the hammer for that. Remove the hammer. And before I even take the sear out, I'm just going to compare these two hammers. And this may be hard to see on this video, but there's definitely damage on the original hammer that came in it. So hopefully this is going to be exactly what I need. I'll just take this off to the side here. And I will get the sear out. Just pop this little pin. Might as well leave these two here. Alright, we got these two pins out. Take the sear and disconnect out. Now, apparently the disconnect is good. I see no trouble with that. I don't feel any burrs on it. Nice and smooth like it should be. So I will take this sear, which is quite obviously damaged when you compare. So, yeah, this definitely has been, or has had a trigger job done on it. So I bet it's going to be a nice, crisp, and clean pull when this is in there. Alright, so to put this back in, it goes in like that. You have your hole there. This hole is larger so it can move up and down as the slide functions back and forth. There's a small hole up inside of there, which I don't know if you can see that. So there's a small hole up in there, and that's where this part goes. Now, last time I was able to drop this in with no trouble. Alright, I dropped that in with no trouble. Then I will line up these holes. Now, if you notice, you may not be able to see on the video, but you can feel one side of this pin has a very, very small head on it. And that small head fits in the little groove here to make it flush with the frame. Ah, popped right in that time. Alright, the hammer, I'm going to use the new hammer. And the hammer pin also has that small head on it there. It's hard to see. So it also goes in from the left side. There we go. Alright, now I am going to use this sear spring. Now the sear spring should sit, this part goes on the back of the hammer, or this part goes on the back of the hammer, which is right there. You might be able to see it moving back and forth. The middle part sits on the sear and disconnect, and this third one that's angled out to my right, that goes to your grip safety. Now, a lot of your 80s series, newer model 1911s, the grip safety is completely disabled and they don't use it anymore. But the owner of this told me he wants his grip safety working because he wants this collectible to be 100% functional. So I'll put this main spring in and hold the sear spring down while I put the grip safety back on. Do I want to use this one or the new one? I'm going to stick with the original. Alright, I'll put that in, get the hole lined up. Then I will put the safety back in. Well, I finally got this in, the safety switch. I also decided to go ahead and replace the grip safety, even though it doesn't look as good. But it turns out that just that tiny modification that the previous owner did on this grip safety is all this thing needed. So now I can cock the hammer with the safety off, and by not touching the grip safety, it's actually preventing me from dropping the hammer, which is what it's supposed to do. Now I can push the grip safety and pull the trigger. That's how it is supposed to work. So good. I've got that part there. So I can just go ahead and put this little baby back together. Alright. Grip safety works. And I can actually feel the detent when I put the safety on. I cannot hear it, but I can feel it. And that's the most important thing. You just want to make sure it works. Alright. Grip safety. There it is.